It is really a pleasure to be here today for this graduation ceremony in which we are graduating 159 students in our 6 master programs. So before giving the diplomas, let me say a couple of words, and then I will also give the floor to the other people, the other panelists here, and a few words about the Graduate School of Economics, because I presume that by now our students know what the Graduate School of Economics is, but perhaps some of the parents and friends who are with us here today do not know much about it. Perhaps they've heard about Barcelona and their sons and friends going to the beach, perhaps also studying a little bit, but maybe they've not heard a lot about the Barcelona Graduate School of Economics. Just in a few words, the Barcelona Graduate School of Economics is a joint venture between 4 institutions: the Department of Economics of the Universidad Autónoma de Barcelona, the Department of Economics of the Universidad Pompeu Fabra, CREI, which is a Research Center in International Economics, and the Institute of Analysis Economico, which is an economic research branch of the CSIC. Each of these 4 institutions are very well known internationally for their research in economics. And actually, each of these institutions has a very high place in all these rankings about economic research, which are routinely done every year by different institutions. And I think this is a very important detail or characteristics, that is that we, as Barcelona Graduate School of Economics, have a research program and we have a teaching program, obviously. And we think that they are intimately related, and we believe that we can afford giving very high-quality teaching and have a very high-quality educational program, precisely because we are at the frontier of research. So from the part of the educational program, we have not only master programs, but we also have summer school, and we have started with executive programs as well. In general, our objective is to create and to form economic analysts who can then have important jobs in academia, the private sector, or the public sector. So this is a little bit our mission. We have not started a long time ago, because this is just the 4th generation. But we build on the strength of the mother institutions, of the 4 institutions that I have nominated before, which are very well known and have a very high international reputation. I also take this opportunity to thank all the private and public institutions who have given their support to the Barcelona Graduate School of Economics in these years, either through scholarships or, like in the case of AXA, by contributing to the endowment, to the research endowment of the Barcelona Graduate School of Economics. This is very important for us, and clearly it is reassuring in a way that very often when we participate in public or private tenders, competitive tenders, we manage to secure funds in this way. We have a very international faculty, and we have very international students. So as I said, we are graduating today 159 students, and these students come from 51 different countries. So this is definitely a very international composition of the student body, which is also, reassuring in a way, because we are not a local institution. Actually, the Catalan and Spanish component represents only about 10% of our student body. So clearly for us, it is very good that we have students who come from all over the world. I think I will try to keep my speech as short as possible. Just one other thing, which is that, as you will see, we have 6 master programs currently, but we have plans for growing. So we have next year in September, we are launching a new program on health economics and policy. And I think that in a couple of years' time, we will also have a master in public policy. So the idea is that we are growing. Every year we have a little bit more students. And we are fortunate in the sense that we can select students from a very high number of applicants. We have just received in the last few days, for this year, the application number 1,000. So we have had about 1,000 applicants for the 6 master programs, which I believe is a very good number. Last year we had about 650, so we are growing very clearly. It would be nice if after receiving the diploma, we continue to be in touch with each other. There is by now a growing alumni component of the Barcelona Graduate School of Economics, and you will be automatically be part of this alumni body. And we have a LinkedIn group, and I hope that we can use it. You can use it to keep in touch with each other, bilaterally with friends, etc., but also with us. I think for us it's very important to keep in touch with our former students, because we can continue to receive some stimulus from them. We can receive feedback, etc. I think this sort of networks turn out to be very useful for alumni themselves. And I think also it would be nice as former students, whenever you have the opportunity to give advice to prospective students, etc., you would do it. And so we are going to benefit from the fact that you are going also to give information about your experience here. No need to lie. On the other hand, what we plan in the near future is to create events to which we are going to invite or at least inform the alumni, hoping that they will take part in these events. This year, as I was saying before, we have started some executive programs, and it was nice to welcome back some students who had been here in the previous years. Okay, so without further ado, I would like now to give the floor to Mr. Javier de Agustin, who is the CEO of AXA, and to whom we are very grateful for giving us the possibility to use this wonderful place today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Mota. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is a great pleasure and a great honor for me to join you today, along with your families, friends, with the faculty and institution on this special day for the 4th graduation of the Barcelona Graduate School of Economics. Welcome also to Auditorio AXA. With great pleasure, we host your graduation in this beautiful building, whose avant-garde design has turned the La Illa complex into an emblematic reference of Barcelona. Today is a celebration and a culmination of all your hard work and merits achieved throughout the year. It is a stepping stone into your future, one you should boldly take. I would also like to thank the Barcelona GSE for giving me the opportunity to address you today and reiterate how we, at AXA Spain and AXA Research Fund how we are committed to your education and with this institution. AXA Spain is a member of the AXA Group, whose flagship theme, Risk Education and Research, is centered on protecting and educating its clients and the community from risks. This is the core of AXA's purpose. Established in January 2008 and endowed with 100 million euros, the AXA Research Fund is an ambitious international scientific sponsorship initiative. Its core mission is to promote first-class research in areas associated with environmental, life, and socio-economic risks. It therefore provides researchers with the means, with the time and the freedom to complete their work successfully, so they feel encouraged to explore new avenues. Indeed, the diversity of funding schemes offered provides great flexibility. The fund, the AXA Research Fund, also fosters multidisciplinary synergies and exchanges within its research community. The AXA Research Fund has committed 1.25 million euros to Barcelona Graduate School of Economics Research Endowment, and I think it is the first private contribution to the school endowment. AXA Research Fund chose to support Barcelona GSE due to its research excellence and to the originality of the research-devoted endowment of the GSE proposed. Aside from the Barcelona GSE, the exclusive list of selected institutions in economics includes the London School of Economics, the Paris School of Economics, and the Toulouse School of Economics. As you can see, AXA is committed to the future of this institution on the long term and to the lovely historical city of Barcelona. AXA is also committed to our communities and society as a whole. Our corporate responsibility is embedded in the way we do business. Our business, the insurance business, is a long-term business that helps to keep society in balance and live more confidently. For us, being responsible means living up to a constant demand. First of all, that of doing our job and being there when our clients need us. Second, it means being fair in our dealings with partners. Establishing work relationships based on trust, diversity, and strong values. Listening to what our clients say and managing our risk with extreme discipline. Last but not least, it means being committed to protecting the environment and supporting the communities within which we work. Risk management lies at the heart of our business. It is our responsibility to use our skills, our resources, and our expertise help create a society that is better prepared, safer, and more solid over the long term. The actual global economic crisis, the biggest in 80 years, which we continue to experience, began 3 years ago with subprime lending issues in one country, and its spillover effects illuminated the shortcomings of our economy and toppled century-old establishment. In the last 2 centuries, our landscape has been marked by market volatility, sovereign debt escalation, economic and governmental collapses, natural and man-made disasters, weak corporate governance, regulatory changes, the emerging of developing nations, and the fear of a domino effect felt both by governments and central banks. Aside from economic issues, we have seen an incredible increase in speed and frequency of natural catastrophes, as recently seen in Haiti or in Japan, as well as man-made disasters such as terrorism and revolutions. For a more democratic society, form part of our daily routine. This global change in the economy is keeping everyone in a state of uncertainty. So the question is, how can we find the right balance between the need for caution and the need to seek out opportunities? I will speak a little bit more about it later. But first, I would like to talk a bit about my personal experiences. When asked to present the closing speech for this graduation class, it brought back memories of the beginning of my career 30 years ago. I had the distinct honor, with others, of seeing the evolution of my industry, the insurance industry in Spain, the insurance sector, and a little bit contributed to its evolution. My fondest memories on the insurance industry in the last 3 decades were our ability, at least of some of us, to deal with change. And the second fondest memories were the mergers that we have lived through. The first, because we were working in a sector where we realized that one could change everything. Of course, it was not easy because you had to fight against an old system, against the usual way of doing things, and a lack of proper tools. However, if you have a real desire for change, you could change practically everything in the insurance industry in Spain. I remember when I first started, there barely were any university graduates working in insurance companies, and even less in the field of engineering. In 1981, we created, a few of us, an association, the first association of engineers in the insurance sector, which was something new. The second memory was the multiple mergers and acquisitions that have occurred throughout our careers in Spain. There were intense moments that we always face with optimism and open-minded, recognizing through a merger that nothing would be the same the day after. This crucial pitchfork that marked our milestones in our careers was not seen as an obstacle. Instead, it was a way to find the best of both worlds and create a new frontier that would ultimately benefit the newly formed company. Conversely, although I don't like to dwell on the negative sides, I have to admit that there were 2 things through my career that didn't sit well with me. For one thing, the insurance industry by that time, had no vision. There was a lack of focus on the future. Rigidly living in the past, it was difficult to change people's mentality and to look towards the future. This was partly due to the times where there were no computers, very few senior professionals properly educated. Basically, it was a closed-minded industry. Thankfully, times have changed, and people are today open-minded and willing to live in the future in the insurance sector too. On a professional level, the most unpleasant times were the early 80s, where inflation and the increasingly competitive environment and a laissez-faire regulatory attitude prevails in some of the financial industries and the insurance sector. An attitude of anything goes permitted much of the business community. This, in turn, spawned even more complex variation of financial products, which rested on increasingly questionable and ultimately downright deceptive assumptions. Fortunately, the lack of professionalism and business speculations were compensated, as stated before, by those who were willing to change how things were handled. Why do I wanted to share these experiences with you? You live in an exciting but complex world. These past year's events have demonstrated one thing concretely. There is a new norm where adaptability to change has become an imperative. Crises are not meant to be lived dramatically, filled with angst and pessimism. Regardless and in spite of the current situation, we should never forget that these are also times of opportunities. Let's not fool ourselves. You are dealing with an economic backdrop that remains uncertain, at times gloomy. The challenges you will face as young adults will not be easy, but they are not insurmountable. The beauty of your generation is that you are confident, self-expressive, liberal, flexible, upbeat, have a strong ability to multitask and open to change. These qualities will be the engineers of your success. On another note, one of the underlying factors that exacerbated the current situation was an excessive aberrant behavior. It created a vicious cycle that has gone from too much arrogance to lack of trust to now a need for greater confidence. Attitudes such as the more the better, growth at any price, too big to fail, were not only passively accepted a few years ago, but also encouraged by some companies. Time has given reason to all the people who consider that good practices, business ethics, accountability, respect and responsibility are as important in the corporate environment as is experience, technical knowledge, or training. Creating a working environment where ruling qualities such as responsibility, accountability, and respect for all stakeholders is a motivating element that, without doubt, will contribute to everyone's extracting the best of themselves. Therefore, the challenge we currently face, yourself especially as the younger generation, is not only deal with the economic recovery, but also the reparation of the value system within businesses that have been damaged and needs your contribution to help recreate and bring it back to its proper place. Your conduct, your exemplary conduct, has to be one of the way of achieving one of the main priorities we have individually and collectively, rebuilding confidence in the future of our society. Remember, crises should serve to highlight lessons learned that will allow us to not repeat past mistakes. So back to my earlier question, how can we find the right balance between the need for caution and the need to seek out opportunities? What are some of the lessons we can extract today? Allow me 5 recommendations. First one, back to basis. Technical knowledge will only get you so far. Values are a crucial pillar for society. We need to return to values taught at home by your parents and within our education system, such as honesty, transparency, confidence, trust, reliability, and professionalism. These values, recently undervalued in some companies, are very much related to the success of our communities, our societies, our business, and our economies. Just as they are embedded in our DNA, they should be brought to all aspects of our life, be it professionally or personally. Wherever your careers now takes you, remember to bring these values to your workplace and help, by example, to reform the corporate value system. Work in companies, please work in companies that are aligned with your values and your expectations. My second recommendation would be the silver lining. A recent article in the Financial Times stated a few weeks ago the prospect of an economic recovery that continues to be slow and hesitant is forcing managers to dig into their reserve of ingenuity. The next few months and few years will not lack for opportunity, however. Yes, today's global turmoil is your silver lining, your bright side. Your role is to be in the best position to take full advantage of the opportunities that arise. Not only look for and take the opportunities that cross your path, but create them as well. Act opportunistically to strengthen your career portfolio. Your generation is filled of fresh ideas and perspectives. Use this to fuel innovation and create the world you wish to live in. My third recommendation, if you allow me, is that change is your friend. Now is not the time to run away from challenges, but to face them fearlessly. Embrace change. Make it your ally. Be a positive change leader. You need a spirit that is not afraid to align itself with change. This will be easy for you, as you are a generation that is used to a much higher level of interaction. You are history's first always connected generation, steeped in digital technology and social media. Do not be afraid to be pioneers, visionaries of your times. Fourth, build your strength. This has been said many times, but deems repeating. There is not a lack of skill set in the market today, but there is a lack of jobs. This means it is very important to differentiate yourself from the rest of the applicants. Internally, you must focus and continually build on your strength by learning, developing, and practicing competencies that will position you favorably. Externally, contribute to the strength of the alumni base, as Professor Motta said a few minutes ago. Cultivate professional relationships with your peers and establish strong ties with associations in your industry. Allocate your invaluable and finite resources, time and energy, wisely. Finally, last but not least, thirst for knowledge. This graduation is just the beginning. Cultivate a love of learning. The experiences you will have will help to build confidence, sharpen business skills, and raise global awareness and career aspirations. This can only be achieved if you dedicate yourself to incorporating all that you learn throughout life. Be curious, be passionate about life. It is now time to bring these remarks to a close. As we have seen, yes, it is the worst job market since the Great Depression, and yet you are all well equipped to handle it. You have an advantage that no young person in my area usually had. You have had access to a variety of university degrees, masters and postgrades. You have a spirit of entrepreneur, and you form part of the first decade of the digital era. You know the saying, think global, act local. This cannot be truer more than now. You can play a vital catalytic role in society today if you wish. Your parents, your supportive network, and your experience and contacts with Barcelona GSE have laid the foundation for you to be able to understand the world of tomorrow and prepare yourself to it. You have the means and the desire to build trustworthy, solid relationships. You are citizens of the world. Your start may have been in Barcelona, but the world has to be your target. Knowledge applied provides wisdom. Therefore, wisely use what you have learned here in Barcelona. Just like in the early days of my career path, there were many gaps in my industry. I am convinced that the businesses and communities you will leave to your children will have nothing to do with what you are currently experiencing. The future of our society is really in your hands. It is up to you to make sure to use the wisdom acquired throughout your life experiences for the betterment of society as a whole. Thank you, congratulations, and good luck for your future.
I will now leave the floor to Professor Joan Gómez Pallares. So we are very thankful to him as the Vice Rector of the Universidad Autónoma de Barcelona, and to Professor Teresa García Milá, who is Vice Rector of the Universidad Pompeu Fabra, who have accepted to be here with us today. So please, Joan.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, students, families and academic staff of the Barcelona Graduate Student School of Economics, it's a pleasure to see your smiling, nervous faces today from here. I'm a classical philologist, so professor of Latin literature, and I love Latin comparative literature and linguistics of many countries. And I was thought to speak in some of your languages, but 51 countries is very much more than I can do. So I have to use our new lingua franca, which is not, unfortunately to me, the Latin, but the English. So I have to read some of the words I have written in English, not in Latin. Some centuries ago it was Latin, but now it's English. This is a wonderful occasion for me to say how much I appreciate the travels of our rector, Professor Anna Ripoll, who I have the honor today of representing in this ceremony. I appreciate them because they allow me, from time to time, to give my opinion in public on the important things that happen at the UAB. And one of the most important that has happened in recent years, 4 years, next year, the 5th, for the UAB, but also for Barcelona and Catalonia, is this joint venture between the departments of the UPF and the UAB, the Institute for Economic Analysis and the Center for Research in International Economics of the CERCA network. These 4 stars, working not as isolated bodies, have amalgamated and looking around this room and from the success of their postgraduate programs have formed a genuine black hole for the scientific promotion of research into economics in the world. I say black hole in the most positive possible sense. You have managed to create a merger of such a magnitude that the birth of the new star has provided irresistible appeal for people from all over the world who have chosen Barcelona and the Barcelona GSE to offer them the best positioning in the academic world and the employment market. The joint efforts of undeniable talents from around the globe by both academic staff and the students who are about to graduate today have made Barcelona a pole of attraction in at least 3 major disciplines: predictive and regenerative medicine, nanoscience and nanotechnology, and of course, economic science. The volume and the quality of output in these areas have positioned our city as one of the great vehicles for the promotion and transfer in our country. And I'm proud to form part of this powerful and prestigious machinery, albeit a very, very small part. I'm not speaking now as the Vice Rector for Economic Policy, but I do want to remember that this professor of classics, that's me, in one of these previous reincarnations was Vice Rector of Graduate Studies at the UAB, and later Vice Rector for Research with Teresa García Milá in the UPF. In both of these positions, I was fortunate enough to get to know many of the people in this room today. It is no coincidence then, but rather the result of many years of hard work and talent that the Barcelona GSE has reached 80th position in world scientific output in the discipline, according to research papers in economics ranking, as well as the 3rd position in Europe and the 1st, obviously, in Spain. I congratulate you on doing everything possible to ensure that our UAB forms part of this fascinating black hole. Now, as Vice Rector for Economic Policy, I will especially like to say that, as graduating students of the Barcelona GSE, you have made an excellent choice and a great investment for your futures. In a futures market whose outcome is unpredictable, your investment in training in a center as prestigious as this one has to be, I'm sure, the right decision. I would just like to add that wherever you continue your academic and professional careers, and Professor Mota has encouraged you to do that, please do not lose touch with the GSE. And I'm sure that our staff will not allow you to do so. And maintain, please, and disseminate the values of seriousness and depth in academic work, the rigor and passion in its execution, and achievement and excellence through hard work and ability. You are the best example of the fact that what we are aiming to teach here is not a utopia, but a reality for each one of us in the future. And to finish, do not forget that in order to survive and lead a happier life, you need to keep in your hearts a little bit of sun, a little bit too of sea, a little bit of our Mediterranean climate of Barcelona, and why not a little bit of what we call here pam tumacat. Thank you. These are slices of bread and tomato, pane pomodoro. So, this, thank you. All these things, I'm sure, I'm absolutely convinced, belong to your formation here in Barcelona. So thank you very much for coming, for having chosen Barcelona and our graduate school of economics. And to the families and to all of you, please have a nice and a happy come back to your homes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, Professor Teresa Garcia-Milà.
Thank you, Massimo. Dear graduates, families, and colleagues, I'm an economist, so I'm more boring, and I'm not going to be as smart and fun as my colleague in classics. But even though I'm the last one to talk, I want to join my colleagues in congratulating our graduates here. I think it's a great day of celebration that really follows many, many months of intense effort, timeless hours of work, but also, I hope, times of friendship and enjoyment, fun in a city, Barcelona, that goes in the name of Barcelona Graduate School of Economics and also in its character. Along the short life of the Barcelona Graduate School of Economics, we have, along the years, gathered in a place similar to this one for graduation ceremony, and every time we have a larger group and a more diverse. I think this is a clear sign of the success of the Barcelona GSE, and at the same time, the evidence of its international spirit. But the real achievement of the Barcelona GSE will be when, in a few years, we hear from you professionally, and we'll see your success that will probably be spread all over the world. It's in a world that is every day more demanding, your professional and personal success will be really the measure of the achievement of our school. The stronger is the Barcelona GSE, the more valuable your graduation is, but in turn, the more successful you are all around the world, the stronger our school gets. So really, we are in this virtuous circle. We already are placing here, and we are hoping that it will be better and better. Excellence and internationalization are the values and goals that from Universitat Pompeu Fabra we share with the Barcelona Graduate School of Economics, and we also share with the other 3 institutions that are behind the school. So our university is and will be behind this project that is for many years. It will be behind this project for many years and with the greatest enthusiasm. Even though times are hard, and this has been mentioned before, and of course as an economist I cannot forget, this is not an easy time to get graduated, but I think what you bring back with you is strong, we hope, and it will be really key for success. I do wish you for the years to come the best in your professional and personal level, and I hope Barcelona and the GSE will be with you, but we will always be here feeling proud of your achievements and future success. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We shall now proceed with the award of the diplomas. Jody will call the students, and we will proceed with the handing in of the diplomas, the deserved diplomas.
We're going to start with the master program in competition and market regulation. Roberto Alimonti, Laura Andonova, Celia Barcouk, Carlos Irejo. Marina Calabina, Giacomo Mariani, Ilaria Maciero, Carlos Miranda. Francisco Javier Muñoz Montes, Ferenc Petu, Rocío Prieto López, Rafael Guglielmi. Juan Felipe Quintero, Francesco Riepi, Julieta Ciro, Corbala Satmari. And finishing out the master program in competition and market regulation, Arvidas Bijunas. Next, we have the master program in the economics of science and innovation. Arturo Aguirre, Manuel Klaus Apple, Rocío del Pozo, Jaume Gumá y Sala. Carlos Iván Guerrero Gómez, Sergio Gutiérrez Montero, Surab Khan, Ana Carolina López Pinaya. Nikhil Mandrakar, Pablo Munzon, María Clara Leal Nascimento Silva, Bashar Okay. Stephanie Reed, Enrique Rodriguez, Niels Schlesier, Olga Slivko. And finally, the last student in the Economics of Science and Innovation program, Izam Yinijeli. Congratulations. The next program is the Master Program in International Trade, Finance, and Development. Leila Agabarari, Anabel Ariñez, Javier Belmonte Vicente, Max Boda. Evelyn Borchardt, Victor Burguete Vidal, Danilo Cherovic, Rodrigo de Ana. Paula Eliche, Antonia Esser, Kristen Kian, Matia Lacañina. Andres Lindner, Rachel Lund, Antonio Martner Sota, Kevin McEvely. Lucila Mederos, Elena Mikkels, Palwasha Mirbacha, Santiago Manuel Moldes. Pedro Naranjo, Delaney Orozco, Christoph Potpeter, Zonia Zetela. Kart Silatz, Kevin Timoney, Jonas Wotenen, Maximilian von Laar. Christina Jung, Julia Sandvetter, Simon Zahetmer, and Catherine Zotz. Congratulations, International Trade, Finance, and Development. We now move to the Master Program in Macroeconomic Policy and Financial Markets. Corina Georgetta Boar, Sasha Butzer, Karen Davtayan, Rodrigo Gaze. Antonio Jose Montilla Valencia, Larissa Mueller, Tuna Saroglu, Zoltan Zhigeti. Antoni Targa, Alessandro Torti, Hung Tran Q Tran. Congratulations, Macroeconomic Policy and Financial Markets. We now move on to the Master Program in Economics. Daphne Alvarez Villa, Michael Anreiter, Enrique Calogueras, Liyun Chen. Giorgio Chiovelli, Davide Tancharuso, Jose Ramon de la Rosa Flores, Satyajit Dutt. Martin Ertel, Hamed Fakiran, Daniel Olive Garcia Macia, Gonzalo Gomez. Nicholas Shlomo Hoish, Vidar Ingeson, Mahesh Kara. Yuriko Kato, Beatrice Kraus, Salvatore Lobello, Maria Inés Mayos. Angelo Martelli, Jose Alejandro Martinez Carrasco, Stefan Maurer, Susanna Meek. Katarina Momsen, Sara Nunez Evora, Martina Prosperetti, Henrik Rauchkala. Thomas Rivera, Pau Roldan, Irene Sanchez, Tom Schmitz. Nunu Souza, Thomas Sturk, Horvoje Stojic, Mimi Tam. Tessie Grace Vasquez Baos, Nick Vogel, Patrick Wolf, Vera Zipperer. And the final student in the economics program, Peter Zorn. Congratulations to all the students in the master program in economics. And last but not least, we have the master program in finance. Samir Azur, Miguel Carlo de Jesus, Alberto Del Coz, Giovanna Gajic. Boris Galarza, Aditya Jagannath, Miroslav Jozic, Gregor Klinger. Tobias Neumann, Daniel Oda, Pedro Otero, Mauricio Peña. Philip Pisa, Fernando Poza de la Torre, Giuseppe Prato Bevera, Manuel Salgueiro. Victoria Serrano, Ann Tolsma, Grace Joe. Ladies and gentlemen, the Barcelona Graduate School of Economics, class of 2011.
So it is a tradition of these graduation ceremonies that we close with the speech of one of the students who have just graduated. Usually the staff instructs the professors to be light and funny, and instead the student who is going to deliver the speech is supposed to be very serious and philosophical. So I expect that Gonzalo Gomez, who is going to deliver the speech today, will not disappoint us.
Dear directors, professors, guests, and colleagues, I got to confess something. I fell in love with economics the same way I fell in love with women. Suddenly, inexplicably, uncritically, giving no thought to the tremendous pain and the enormous pleasures it would bring with it. And I am sure that all of you, dear colleagues, had the same feeling at some point in your life, and this is why you decided to come here and pursue a career in development or in academia or in policy making or in finance or in regulation or in innovation. We arrived to Barcelona 10 months ago looking for knowledge, for new experiences, for good times, for surprising loves, for endless nights. And this is just what we have found, a deeper life, a year full of effort and hard work, but also a year full of fun and excitement. So, you will have to forgive us if today we are a little melancholic. Melancholy is not a bad thing. It is just the joy of being sad. You can only feel that way when you can look back to the previous months or years with a smile on your face. We have shared 600 hours of classes, around 25 problem sets, more or less 10 exams, a handful of presentations, writing a master thesis and defending such project in front of the GSE faculty. And after all that, we are still smiling when we look back? There is one possible explanation for this strange phenomenon. Yes, we are completely nuts. Even I am smiling, and I am a Real Madrid supporter. So imagine how hard this year has been for me. This is the ultimate proof. QED, quod erat demonstrandum, a little of Latin, which is all right, I think. But come on, let's be honest here. We don't have to be ashamed for being absolutely crazy. We are just a good kind of mad people. We have chosen to commit our talent and our effort not to make people click on banners on a web page, but to change the world through economics, regulation, policy making, etc. And yes, after a year here, we are more prepared to achieve these big goals that we all have in our mind. Okay, I know that some of you may think, what are you talking about? Big goals? I still wake up in the middle of the night listening to Professor Kurt Schmidt-Haney's voice saying that the OLS estimator of beta is x prime x inverse x prime y. So, can you please tell me how is that or anything of that matter going to help me to change the world? And okay, I think that we all can agree on how important econometrics is for us economists, but this is not the point. What I think is important is that through every new concept, or lecture, or problem set, or exam, we have become wiser, bigger, and stronger. Dear colleagues, we can feel very proud of ourselves. We have done what is hard. We are ready to achieve what is great. Knowing that we are not going to see our teachers here anymore is another reason for joy and happiness, excuse me, for melancholy, I am sorry. Now, this is true. We are in debt with all those professors who had contributed to our personal growth. We would like to thank especially all those teachers who, at a certain point, have set lectures and books away, apart from us, and they have come near to approach us not just like professors with some knowledge to transmit, but as colleagues and masters with experiences and ideas to share. So, our gratitude will be always with all those teachers whose office doors were open far beyond the office hours. We will always be able to find a formula in a book. What we have lived, felt, and shared with you will always be with us. But come on, let's stop saying only nice things here. You have made us work hard. You have made us sweat. You have made us solve all kinds of ugly problems. And yes, we have learned a lot. That's true. But, there are some methodological issues that we don't understand that we would like to discuss. I will try to show them according to the approach originally exposed in his 2011 paper by the biggest moaner, Mr. José Mourinho. Why, or according to literature, ¿por qué all those problem sets? Why, or again, ¿por qué so many questions, hard questions in the exams? I don't understand. ¿Por qué So many papers to read? ¿Por qué 2 or 3 hours lectures without having a break? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? And Milton Friedman, as it usually happens in economics, has the answer to those questions. A disciple of him went once to his office and told him that he was exhausted, that he was not going to be able to finish his PhD. Friedman looked at him and told him, okay, don't worry, I understand. Learning is an agonic process. So yes, you can go home or you can go to the cinema, wherever you want, but tomorrow morning I want to see you here at 7 a.m. You understand what I mean? And of course the guy was there on the next morning. And as this guy, we have experienced moments of doubt and weaknesses here, but day after day, we woke up and went to class or to the library, fighting for what we wanted to achieve, knowing that without sacrifice, there is no possible reward. Okay, it is true, we may not be there at 7 a.m., it may be 7:30 or 8, or, well, depending, 8, 8:30, 9, before 11 for sure, we were there, yeah, most of the times. All those big efforts would not have been possible without you guys, without the colleagues and friends that we have found at the GSE. I have just said that we can feel proud of ourselves. Well, I think that we can also feel proud of each other. We have been like blood brothers. We have shared libraries, class notes, ideas, small disappointments, big dreams yet to come. And we have shared overall laughs, nights, loves, beer pong matches, walks around the city, escapes to the beach, hours and hours and hours of conversations and confidences. I think that if we were asked to summarize this year in a couple of words, we would just say our names, the names of the friends that we have all made here. And even if we don't live in Barcelona anymore, we will be always able to look back and think, with a smile on our face, of the family that each of us has found and has built here. It would not be fair to forget about our other family, our parents and our brothers and our sisters and our friends in our hometowns. If we are happy for ourselves, imagine how they feel about it. The only thing that we would like to tell them is thank you, and please don't forget that you are the main responsible of what we are, and for how proud you have felt when you have listened our name and you have seen us picking our diplomas. Finally, we would like to thank the GSE staff and the school as a whole for all this year, for the support, the organization, and the possibilities they have provided us with. Thanks also to the city of Barcelona and some of its citizens who a couple of weeks ago were kind enough to organize a concentration in the park by the university just to wish us good luck for the exams. Thank you for that. We really appreciate. However, after all these experiences and knowledge, we believe that there are still some questions which answers may be, as Bob Dylan once said, blowing in the wind. Why we, economics master students, are so nerd, geek, and freak? I don't know. What about the rumor about finance guys? Is it true that the only thing that you want is become filthy rich and create economic crisis around the world? What about ITFD? Is it true that the students at ITFD are all day partying and that even during classes they take notes drinking mojitos? Do regulation students study only game theory in all its different ways? Do macroeconomic policy students really exist? Why are they hidden in Bellaterra? Is anybody doing scientific experiments with them? And what about the Master in Economics of Science and Innovation students? What about the people of that MESI program that, wait a moment, MESI program, are you kidding me? What is this? Oh, what not Xavi program or Iniesta program? If we are going to create new programs, as we have already said, I propose one. The program in Economics, Development, Research, and International Trade Operations, the Pedrito program. And the last and probably most important question, have we all found, after a year here, what happiness really is? And the answer is yes, no doubt. It is a function that we have to maximize subject to certain constraints. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Gonzalo. A lot of food for thought. So I think now the most important moment comes, which is the one of the aperitif. So I would like to finish by thanking everybody for those who have accepted to be here with us today, my colleagues and the GSE staff who have really put a lot of work into trying to make sure that everything was going smoothly. So thank you very much to all of you. Thank you for being with us, all the students who are here today, and thank you also to families, friends, and relatives. It has been a pleasure. And, well, have a good summer and hope to keep in touch.